On July 21, 2025, the United States government released a trove of over 240,000 once classified documents, pages that reveal the full extent of FBI surveillance on one of the most iconic figures in American history, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., described by civil rights scholars as unprecedented in modern American transparency. The release lays bare a decades-long campaign of wiretaps, covert operations, psychological warfare, and character assassination, all sanctioned by the highest levels of federal power. This is the story of what was hidden, what has now been revealed, and why it matters. King's words moved a nation. But behind closed doors, the very government that now celebrates him as a national hero saw him as a threat, an enemy, to be neutralized. The files released in July include surveillance transcripts, secret memos, informant reports, even a letter urging King to take his own life. It confirms what many long suspected, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, under J. Edgar Hoover, waged a relentless campaign to destroy King's credibility, dignity, and influence. But this story didn't start with a data dump. It began quietly decades ago. In October 1958, King was stabbed at a book signing in Harlem. Though he survived, the FBI's interest in him began to grow. By the end of 1959, agents were quietly collecting background files, noting his associations with labor leaders and peace activists, many labeled subversive. In March 1960, a name appears in FBI files, Stanley Levison, a New York lawyer and friend of King. Levison's alleged communist ties became the Bureau's justification for deeper scrutiny. By October 1961, the Atlanta field office requested full surveillance. The concern wasn't terrorism. It wasn't crime. It was influence. King had it, and they feared it. By 1962, J. Edgar Hoover had made up his mind. King wasn't just a political activist. He was, in Hoover's words, a threat to national security. That same year, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy authorized the first wiretaps on King's home and SCLC offices. Over the next year, King's calls were intercepted. Conversations with aides, family, clergy, even personal friends were recorded, transcribed, analyzed. The FBI wasn't just listening. It was plotting. After the 1963 March on Washington, Hoover famously labeled King the most dangerous Negro in America. The following year, King was officially added to the FBI's secret COINTELPRO list, an operation designed to dismantle political opponents through disinformation and disruption. Spring 1964. Hotel rooms bugged. Personal habits scrutinized. Informants embedded in the SCLC. The goal: find weakness. Exploit vulnerability. Ruin a man. Then came the infamous letter. Anonymously mailed to King, it accused him of moral failings and threatened exposure unless he stepped down or took his own life. Accompanying it, a tape, allegedly from surveillance. King suspected the FBI. He was right. The newly released files show internal drafts of the letter, revealing how far the Bureau was willing to go to break his spirit. He never caved. As King's influence expanded beyond civil rights, speaking out against war, poverty, and American imperialism, the FBI's tactics grew darker. Memos ordered damaging rumors to be leaked to clergy, donors, and the press. Black leaders were sent forged letters intended to sow division. Secret operations with code names like Hoodwink sought to isolate King from allies. After his 1967 Beyond Vietnam speech, the FBI expanded operations again. King had gone from civil agitator to global critic of you. Policy that made him, in Hoover's mind, a national liability. In March 1968, just weeks before King's death, an FBI memo declared, "The King matter must be brought to a close." Surveillance intensified in Memphis. Hotel rooms were bugged once more. On April 4, 1968, King was assassinated. Even then, the Bureau's attention didn't end. Informants tracked funeral arrangements. The SCLC remained under surveillance. Files show the FBI was more concerned about public perception than solving the murder. The next years brought slow reckoning. A 1971 break-in at an FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania, uncovered COINTELPRO documents. The cover-up began to unravel. By 1977, the King family sued the government. A federal judge ordered key files sealed until 2027. Now, 48 years later, and 2 years early, the seal has been broken. President Trump's executive order in January 2025 cited the public's right to know. Critics questioned the timing. Supporters hailed it as overdue justice. The documents confirm extensive wiretapping and hotel surveillance, fake letters sent to media, and civil rights leaders' psychological profiles portraying King as unstable FBI agents instructed to diminish public confidence, and a stunning lack of legal wrongdoing found. Despite the scale of the operation, some files even reveal internal dissent. Agents who questioned the ethics and legality of the operation, but whose concerns went unheeded. The King family responded with grace and pain. "We have long known the FBI sought to destroy our father," said Martin Luther King III and Bernice King. "But seeing it page after page is devastating." Historians agree. This is not just about King. It's about how state power was weaponized against black leadership, dissent, and the fight for justice. Imani Perry of Harvard said it best. The fact that King's ideas survived this kind of campaign is a testament not just to his character, but to the moral force of nonviolence itself. In classrooms, museums, and public discourse, Dr. King stands as a symbol of courage, moral clarity, and peace. But these newly unsealed files ask us to wrestle with a harder truth, that the very government which honors him today once did everything in its power to silence him. And still he rose. As Bernice King said on the day of the release, this is not the end of the King story. It is the beginning of a fuller, more painful, and more honest chapter. And maybe that is what truth and reconciliation really look like.